Hello, everybody. To everybody, whoever's listening to this. What do they say in space? We're gonna do a little freestyle tarot for a message. Tune into what the spirit guides, my spirit guides, or if there's a collective message or a daily message. I'm still learning about tarot and the traditional ways to communicate, but I also just love to pull stories together with the card and speak on themes that might be relevant, someone might be going through. Tarot is maybe considered a feminine thing, and what I mean by that is it can be a lot around feelings, not necessarily. There could be a lot of invitation to take action. So I guess my intention behind what I said is that my use of tarot is very action oriented. And so I like to have these meanings and these questions and these feelings. But the use I have for tarot usually is to get a little bit clear on if there's an action I'm supposed to be taking, not supposed to be taking, that I can take. Because at the end of the day, I do believe that we are not really what we think, we are what we do. And so first you kind of pay attention to what it is that you're doing. This card came out, so we'll go ahead and place it. We have the Six of Cups. And as I still learn about the process, I might use the booklet to get more insight. But yeah, to complete the statement of doing, you can convince yourself of who you are all you want in your head. But ultimately what really manifests that, what really materializes that is doing. And so the whole intention with my tarot readings are to, one, make you aware of your doing. What are you currently doing? So put the mouth, Queen of Pentacles. All right, let me start stringing a story here. We have Six of Cups, Queen of Pentacles. Six of Cups is giving perhaps you're revisiting past memories. There's a revisiting happening, so you're sort of getting a different point of view of memories that you always understood a certain way. You had always had these conclusions of certain memories that kind of confirmed your beliefs at the time. It seemed so real to you, and now you're going back and you're kind of like, It's actually even better because this invites you to kind of heal more clearly. You see that things were not as they seemed, that sometimes your pains were just misunderstandings of just needing comfort, which ultimately comes from yourself, but as a child it comes from your parents. And so you're going back to your childhood here, and maybe it's even allowing you to experience in your present moment things that you used to enjoy as a child, you might be enjoying them very, very much right now because your inner child is healing and you're remembering these things you used to love. For me, it's funny. I grew up in a Christian church. I guess evangelical would technically be the term. And so I caught myself singing songs that I was introduced to at 5 years old. And where I had a hardening against the church, I refused to go to church as a teenager. And just as I gotten older, I went away, obviously. And but I remember that song, this moment of my life. There was a lot of pure joy. There wasn't religion. There was just simply some music that was in my realm, and I enjoyed it. And there's nothing else to it. All right, we have the Queen of Pentacles next here, in combination with our Six of Cups. This is feeling kind of like a feminine, motherly energy. I would say maybe there's a conversation to be had. Like maybe this is your mother, maybe this is your relationship to the feminine energy. This could be even you're connected to the way that you view money, connected to the way that you view value, your self-value. So maybe this has already happened or is a process. It's happening as we speak. And it's related to the feminine energies. You're sort of completing an awareness you had misunderstood about the feminine. And this is happening symbolically by maybe conversations with your mother, inner conversations with yourself. You're more soft, you're more gentle, you're more yeah, there's a warmth, a sustainable. Okay, let's keep going here. We have the World. Okay, I love this card right now because sometimes in tarot, we really look to be, at least in the past, I have used tarot to kind of, I just said it for action, right? But also, you kind of want to be told what to do. And it feels good to be told what to do because it gives you a lot of context and it gives you a lot of reason. And without that, we sometimes struggle to make choices for ourselves without someone else's. At least that's my story, right? So we have the World here where I discovered that you really don't end up where you're going. That life really is a process of choices. So if you make certain decisions, you're going to end up taking certain paths, right? And they actually can lead away from one another. And there isn't this idea that you're immortal and you can do everything. So the World is here saying that there's basically a lot of opportunity to see the world differently, right? First and foremost, you see that you aren't maybe these past stories, this past hurt. You're developing a relationship with yourself that is leading to magnetism, leading to money, resolutions, to a sense of self-love, deep self-love. And then now you're entering the world with this healed, and there's a lot of things being brought to your doorstep, so a lot of opportunities. It popped out the deck, and it technically popped up straight up on my end, so I'm gonna read it like that. Okay, this is interesting because I was getting ready to ask as the cards were being pulled. Like, okay, when you think about opportunities, sometimes it can just seem positive or it can seem negative. You got to remember that opportunities are both, they're trade-offs. You know, sometimes you got to consider why you're receiving an opportunity, And it could be because there's a inner self value that someone is seeing in yourself now. You're seeing it, so they're seeing it, and so that's worth something, right? So just see that opportunities are not scarce. Scarce, I think, is the good word. But then, in asking if these opportunities, I was kind of figuring how to ask the question, are these opportunities all positive? And then we had this 10 of Swords pull up, and, well, I don't think that's the right phrase of the question, which is why I didn't ask it. But with this card pulling out as I was figuring out the phrasing for the question, it's giving like end of a cycle. It's giving end of a cycle. It's giving like maybe you're just like in the final stages. Sometimes you think you're over and you're already in a new era, but maybe you're actually just like in the final stages of the end. So this is feeling like maybe you're not quite finished here. Not quite. You're looking forward to the world, and maybe you're experiencing it on a minor way right now. Like in your day-to-day, you feel more freedom within the same routines. But yeah, this 10 of Swords here is just like, you really are just, oh, it's the end, and you're like in the end. The end only means, I guess for me that brings excitement, because I feel like, oh, this whole stage has been just lingering, and I just am so ready to be free. And I guess that's what this is symbolically saying. It's like there's still pain, there's actual pain in my body, guilt in my body, shame in my body, and so like I'm actually experiencing, I have to let this pain out instead of avoiding it like I always have. So we want this World card. This World card is so positive. Let's see what we got. You got this healing going on. You got these opportunities coming. You're in these final stages. Got the final stages. Okay, we got the King of Swords. All right, King of Swords. I'll put it up here. I'm gonna pull a few more cards to clarify. I gotta make this, I don't have to do nothing, but I feel like I gotta make this fiery. Like I gotta entertain. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe this is relevant for the King of Swords. Let's see, what did I just say that might be relevant to the King of Swords? I don't know. This is giving, like, even though you are still in the final stages, it doesn't mean that you don't have the ability to embody some of the wisdom that you already have learned through this current stage. You're coming to the end, but it doesn't mean you don't have the powers, the experience points to go ahead and begin to embody, regardless of this current state, which is maybe you're still dealing with some lingering pain, some lingering stuff from the past. You're still looking at things from a point of view of like, oh, but yeah, I took everything personally. It wasn't their fault. It wasn't my fault. It was a misunderstanding. And so you're beginning to embody this guy right here. This guy, I love the King of Swords, because he's just like, you see there's like, the faces, how would you describe the face? He's just unfazed. He's like Libra. Maybe there's Libra in this. It's like, I don't really pick sides. I only stand for what is true. And the truth hurts sometimes, so there's definitely setting aside of personal feelings. And so there's an embodiment of this is to see all the dynamics that you're coming out of, and where in the past you might have been unable to look at yourself because you're ashamed, you feel guilty, or you don't want to accept that some of these thoughts that you've had, you don't want to accept that you've had them. And you're seeing now that you're not your thoughts. So where you once identified with your thoughts and felt shame for having them, and that's what led to all this stuff, right? Now you're at the end of the cycle, but you have the superpower of not identifying with your thoughts, accepting your thoughts as you don't understand where they come from. That's a story for another day. So, and then you allow yourself to act swiftly with the King of Swords here, who says, so far my life has been a reaction, a creation, a false ego, a false identity I created, a mechanism to protect myself. And now we don't need any of that. All we need is our word and our action. All right? That's all we need, our word and our action. Truth, King of Swords. He's not here to preserve feelings, and I can speak personally on this, that I'm harsher on myself than I would be to somebody outside of me. I tend to bite my tongue when I feel like I might hurt someone's feelings, but things are not always as they seem. I think what matters most is that you are able to see your own illusions, your own dynamics within, and to speak to yourself and act in a certain way that is aware. Let me not even say an integrity. It's just yeah, let's keep it pushing here. King of Swords, King of Swords, King of Swords, and then we have Ten of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles. This is another completion, another 10 card. And I guess this is where we're going. This is where we're headed, collective. We are going to the promised land. We are going to creating beautiful memories, to creating abundance, to community, to wealth, to health, to love. And let's see, I want a clarification on that, because I feel like sometimes things like this feel far out in the distance. And I like to feel this now. I like to take all of this and feel it now, so I'm never striving for the future. And so obviously this is the outcome. Behaving like the King of Swords, recollecting our past and healing from it, letting things come to endings, letting things end, chapters end, so that we really can step into the new chapter. The Hierophant, ooh, come on now. Okay, so I said, this Ten of Pentacles is symbolic of essentially the outcome of this energy, of this vibration. And so that means that it's the outcome is the end. So if you're looking forward to that, then what do we look forward to in the moment as we behave like the King of Swords, as we behave like this healed version? And here comes the Hierophant, which that's just like, to me, I've been reflecting on the purpose of religion, the purpose of all this belief in God. And apparently all of our religions give us values to behave like good humans. Whatever that means, right? It's interesting. It's like words are, I think this is where religion and all the stories of everything get, like, once you start describing it, because now, the now moment, right? This is why I pulled this card, because I said, well, the future, right? And the past, but the now moment. And I think this is like, you are the church. You are the church. You are God in the most humble way. Like, you recognize your connection with God. And so you live in a godly way so that God abides in you. And it's not this, you might use a traditional method to get to it, you know, whatever method works for you, but it's a humbling experience to experience God and to allow God to to be where he's always been, which is within you. And so I love the ending to this reading, because this is completion of the entire thing. Is like the reason any of this is moving is because within ourselves we have the knowledge of the higher law, the spiritual process of becoming a human and recognizing your true self, the Hierophant. And okay, so I really like where that went. I think to end this reading, I might just pull couple more cards to kind of guide the activity for the rest of the day, because we have King of Swords energy kind of telling us about our speech and our activity, and we have this realization of chapters ending, and maybe it's a process, and we have the spiritual connection with our heart, and we have the Fool, we have 8 of Cups, and we have 7, 7, 7, 7 of Wands. 7 of Wands, the Fool. It feels like beginner energy, the Fool. If you don't know what the Fool looks like, it's giving like this chapter is ending, so we're coming to a beginner energy. Perhaps you have a beginner's mind and some new activity. Maybe there's your new way of looking at the world is like a child, in the sense that you're not used to seeing the world in this new way. So maybe treat yourself like a child, treat yourself like a little baby. We got 8 of Cups, 7 of Wands. This is telling me that yeah, this is saying, all right, this is telling me, guys, I like this. This is going to wrap it all up here. This is saying, carry yourself as a beginner, you like a beginner mind in something, whatever that's going to have to be for you. For me, I kind of have an idea, but you know, when you're young and you're learning something and you kind of get into it, it's like you lose track of time. You're more interested in, and so also, right now is a time to 8 of Cups, just walk away. 180 degrees, right? Just walk away from things. There's some things that you could just, at this point, you're not missing out. You're not missing out. So walk away. Don't be scared. Walk away. Walk away. And 7 of Wands is saying a lot of thoughts. Don't identify with all of these thoughts. See them. Just watch them. And then choose the ones that you're going to energize, so that your real thoughts are empowered. The real thoughts of, from my opinion, the ones that are closer to God description, those are the thoughts that are strong. And so you see all the thoughts, and then you invite the one thought that's going to shit on all of them. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and check in soon.